length, okay?
Okay, thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you.
And thank you, Ranking Member Cole. I'm here to talk about two issues today. I'll try and be as brief as possible. One is the Helen Keller National Center for Deaf-Blind Youths, and the other is the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. And this committee has been very good to the Helen Keller Center over the past couple of years. They went without any increases for almost 16 years. Let me just tell you very quickly, the Helen Keller National Center for Deaf and Blind Youths is a national organization. It's the only one of its type. It was formed in 1967, and it's unique that it serves a population that is both deaf and blind. Think about that, both deaf and blind combined. You can imagine how important this organization is in the lives of these folks that are confronting being both deaf and blind at the same time. And right now it's estimated that the number of people that are both deaf and blind is actually going to increase as the population ages out. And this organization funds people that are over 16 years of age. They travel from all over the country to come to this facility, as well as having some regional centers that provide some outpatient services. So I'm asking that the committee consider increasing the Helen Keller National Center's 2019 funding from $13.5 million to $16 million. And this will help them accomplish their very, very important mission. And this small investment of $2.5 million more will make a dramatic change in the lives of the people that are so affected by the services that they provide. And I'll give you some written testimony about the details of what they're going to spend the money on. The second topic is the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act. I'm asking that this committee consider increasing that to $250 million to expand apprenticeship programs for fiscal year 2020. So as many of you know, wages have been stagnant in America since the late 1970s. We've seen decreasing unionization and globalization and automation and increasing health care costs have all contributed. And to earn more in today's economy, you have to actually learn more. And for decades, we've been pushing the idea of going to college and STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And we should continue to push that. I've certainly pushed that with my children. But we have to remember that 60% of Americans do not attend college. And we need to encourage more high schoolers and high school graduates to pursue non-college, post-high school apprenticeship programs so they can acquire the skills necessary to obtain skilled jobs as plumbers and electricians and carpenters and welders and computer machinists and radio quality control experts and radio frequency technicians and mechanics and much, much more. These skills are in high demand throughout the country. They pay better wages than just a straight high school diploma would pay, and they require one thing, more skills training that could be provided through the WIOA program. So back at home, I've created a task force to bring together all the players that would be affected by this. I brought together the county executives from 2 of the counties that I represent. I brought together the workforce opportunity boards that now exist. I brought together the unions. I brought together the community colleges, the vocational schools, what we call BOCES in New York State, the training for high school, K-12 really. All the different folks that provide different types of training. And I also brought in the largest chamber of commerce in the region as well, along with other government officials. And what we need to do is create a one-stop shopping program where employers can say, I need these type of jobs filled. And then we need the trainers, the programs funded by WIOA and others to say, we can provide those skills trainings to those people that want those type of jobs. And then we need the employees to know what jobs are available and where the training is. So I believe that this is a very important issue in our country today. And right now, a $250 million per year investment is really a relatively small, modest investment when you think about how dramatic this problem is in our country. There's such a stigma related to non-college graduates in our country right now. And I just want to just end by telling one quick story. Back in my district, I was the mayor of my hometown, Glen Cove, Long Island. And I remember this guy, and there's a million stories like this, who was a plumber. He had a great business. And he had a beautiful home, and he owned a 2-family home down the street. And he rented that out to people and made money from it. And he had a boat, and he went on vacations, big vacations. And he would go out to dinner every Friday night at a restaurant called La Bussola in Glen Cove, and he'd be a big tipper, and he'd take people out to dinner, and he was a big, popular guy, and he made this tremendous business. And I said, wow, you really have some business. I said, are you going to give that to your kids later on? He says, no. They're going to go to college. The idea that the stigma associated with people who are in these skill sets is something that has happened in our country for 20, 30 years now. And in reality, 60% of Americans don't go to college. But to compete in this world today, especially in the global economy, but with a whole bunch of other factors, as I mentioned, related to reduction in unionization and globalization and automation, we need to provide more skills to folks when they graduate from high school or even while they're in high school. And we need to lift up the dignity of work, has been used by others, for people who are working with their hands, who are working in these businesses that are much needed in our country. So the WIOA program would go a long way in doing that. And I hope that you'll recognize, and I'm sure you do, that the key to the middle class's future lies in supplying labor. And to do this, we must increase our investments in non-college, post-secondary education programs so we can teach the skills which are essential to sustaining the American middle class for generations to come. So I thank you so much for your kind attention.